In a world full of movie podcasts, here is one more. Welcome to Defend Your Movie with Sean Donnelly.
The time has come again. The champion must stand. It can only be one of us. Victoria! So stand up in that, my friend. There's a title you must defend. Shut up and bring it to me. Defend your movie.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Defend Your Movie. I am one of your hosts, Sean Donnelly, and I'm joined by my co-host and pal and a little under the weather, a little Andy.
Hey, buddy. Yeah, sorry, everybody. I sound
Andy
a little
Fiore.
cold. I'm trying to get over it, trying to knock it out. I feel okay, but it's still the remnants are there.
That is the worst when you're like almost at the finish line with a cold.
Yeah, I can see the finish line, and I'm almost there.
And also a summer cold is always the worst.
It sucks because it's been brutally hot out.
Yeah, and you feel you're sweating and there's a cold.
Sweating,
and you're like,
just-
is the sweating because of the cold?
Don't want to move.
And I'm just, how did I get it? You're like,
Yeah.
how did I get it in the? Because it's usually a winter thing to get a cold.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going in and out from AC to the 90-degree weather?
Could be. That usually does screw me up a little bit.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
the weather changes, it usually happens to me.
Yeah, yeah. I always get sick right when the weather
I
changes.
think a lot of people are like that.
Yeah, I totally do. It's good to see you, buddy. I
too.
hope you feel better.
Thanks, man.
What is going on? You saw a bunch of movies
Well,
recently.
with a lot of downtime from a cold, you just watch a lot of movies. So that's primarily how I spent my time.
You rattled us off the list, me and Alex, and it was like you were. It was like you were like, oh, I'm going to try to get in touch with the feminine mystique.
It was.
But it was movies that I want to say. Like, I want to. You saw Obvious Child.
I saw Obvious Child, the Jenny Slate movie, just kind of an independent comedy. It's about her. She's a stand-up and her love life.
There's like
And-
a cool factor to it.
Yeah, Brooklyn.
Yeah, there's a very Brooklyn-y thing
It was
to
okay. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it.
Were you laughing out loud?
No, I was not
Were you-
laughing out loud. I was
were you
entertained.
LOLing? Were you
I was
LOLing?
not LOLing, but
Yeah.
I was entertained.
You were entertained.
Yeah.
So it was like let me ask you this. This should be one of the tests we have on the show. If it was on cable, would you leave it on or would you turn it off? Would you flip or would you not
that's
flip?
a great one.
Maybe we'll do it. Maybe that's a section we name movies to flip or not flip.
I will tell you this. I watched it in parts. It was on Netflix. I went back. So I didn't sit. It wasn't one continuous sitting. So I was like, let me see what else is on. I'll come back to this.
Really?
So there you go.
Okay. And you watched.
I watched.
Who's the other one again?
I Feel Pretty, Amy Schumer's movie.
No, you know what? But it's. I watched Train. I've seen Trainwreck. I'm not
Trainwreck's
saying
funny.
you're a woman because you're watching womanly movies.
I
I'm
watched
just fucking
Snatched.
with you. Snatched
When it was on cable.
right.
Not in the theater, when it came on HBO.
You're an Amy Schumer fan.
I like Amy Schumer.
I like Amy Schumer too.
I like her movies better than her stand-up. I'll tell you that.
Okay, that's cool. I don't know what I like. I don't know what I would. I think I like her personality, so I like. Yeah, maybe her
Yeah.
movies better than her stand up, but I like her stand up.
It was other factors too. Rory Scovel, who I love, was in it, and I was
that's
happy
right.
to see him get like a lead
Yes.
role because I think he's great.
He's amazing.
and
And I always say this. I might have brought him up on the podcast before. If you don't know Rory Scovel, look him up. He's an amazing comedian. He's one of these guys that is. He's not just an amazing comedian. He's a really good guy. Like he's a really good guy.
Yeah.
Like I'm not just saying this just to be complimentary. Like when I hang out with Rory, I'm like, you're a better person than I am. Like I consider myself a good person overall, but I'm like, no, he's a better person than I am. Like I honestly believe that. I think when he's hanging out with you, I think he's actually engaged. I think he actually is enjoying life. If you can see it from his stand-up, if you see his stand-up, there's nothing phony about his stand-up. Like it's him. A lot of it's him. A lot of riffing that he does. He does a lot of riffing in his stand-up.
Yeah.
And it's all this weird riffing, but he's so funny. I think a lot of it just coming to him as he goes. You ever hear that? There's a story about him that he did a show once, and it was in the lobby of a hotel.
Yes, I
and
did hear
And he had
this.
a wireless mic, and then just in the middle of the set, he got on the elevator and just started going from floor to floor, just commenting and talking to people. And then people were losing their minds laughing. Like he's like that. There's another story that. And I think I can tell this on the podcast. It's not bad. When Conan, I don't know if I told this story on the podcast. When Conan O'Brien had the Tonight Show. Did you ever hear this? I saw it firsthand, and this place, Comics, was open in the city. They had auditions at Comics for the Tonight Show. They had like a showcase when Conan O'Brien was hosting it. And Rory was on the auditions. And now, what I saw from the audience was Rory come out and do his effeminate, like, sassy Southern guy character, but do his jokes just in that voice.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, that's hilarious. They wanted him to do that. They wanted him to do that character on The Tonight Show. But he told me in the back, he mentioned to one of the people from the show, he goes, I think I'm going to do this voice that I do. And they're like, no, we don't really do characters on The Tonight Show. And he was like, nah, I'm going to do it. And he went out and still did it and never said, no, guys, this is actually me,
That's
Rory.
great.
Just did all the jokes. Like, it was Rory's jokes, but in the voice.
That's so funny.
And he crushed, and then just walked off and never told anybody. I thought it was one of the funniest, like, bravest things ever. Like, he didn't have a ton of stuff at that point. Like, he needed stuff. And
Right,
like, that's what I mean. Like, comfortable in your own skin. Like, ballsy move in comedy that I don't do.
And he's become one of Conan's, like, go-to guys for doing
Weird stuff.
off the cuff,
Yeah.
not straight up stand-up.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
So that's cool. That's awesome that he was. When I found out he was in that movie, I was really excited for him.
The other thing about Amy Schumer movies is you get to see our friends,
Exactly.
which was a lot of the impetus for why I watched it. Like, David Tell, anything he does, I just love. So
He's amazing.
and
then
it was all right. It was fine, but again, I think I ordered it on demand in my sickness, and I was just like, so you know when you just watch movies. I was just sitting at home
I know why
watching
you got sick, and maybe I'm wrong. The plane.
Oh, could have been
Are you
traveling.
that guy? Are you I get sick on the plane guy?
Not all the time, but yeah, that could have been something.
This is the last one we'll talk about that you saw because I really think it's funny what you said to me when you walked in and told me. What's the last movie you saw?
Well, there's two more. There's very, very bad things.
Very Bad Things is an old Jon Favreau movie, which is pretty good actually.
Yeah, that was
it's a
just
dark
on,
movie.
and I watched it. It's kind of dark.
The guy, I can't not
crazy.
think of the guy from Seven is in it. The guy who gets fucked with the spiky dildo in Seven.
Oh, God.
So it's kind of
Oh,
funny
my God, that's
and
the
it was
worst.
around the same time it came out. I
Yeah.
think. So he was
in
in a
hot.
comedy after he just played a guy who was traumatized by a metal dildo.
Yeah, it's a decent cast. It's Daniel Stern, Jon Favreau, Jeremy Piven,
Yes.
Cameron Diaz.
Yes.
A bunch. It's
I saw it a long time ago. I don't even remember it, but I remember it being
Yeah.
pretty decent.
And the last one I saw was Wonder, which is
Which is like Millennial Mask.
yeah, that's
It's basically it's Mask with
so
Rocky
fun.
Dennis.
That's exactly what it is.
Right? Is it not?
It's about a little boy Augie who
Alex is laughing. It really is though.
it's Julia Roberts and Owen Wilson, and they're mother and father, and he's got he's born with facial deformities.
Right. And they have all
And-
this he has surgeries done.
He's homeschooled for most of his life until like 4th grade, and then he goes to public school, and it's this whole, him making friends, him getting made fun of, and then, overcoming all these challenges. And it was so sweet, and it's not bad. If I was bawling my eyes out by the end of it.
Was it so? It actually was legit. Like the emotion.
It was actually very cool the way they did it.
that can be very hokey and very corny very fast.
They did it in parts where it was like they broke it up by introducing you to every other character, like in his like they did it from the daughter's story. So it was like Augie was like the first part, and then the second part was like Mia. Like it would come on their name would come on the screen, and then they'd give you a little more about her.
Same time
but
frame?
it was all within the movie. Yeah, so it was very cool. Honestly, it wasn't bad.
Wow. Yeah.
I started watching it, and I just got into it, and then by the end, you're like, Augie, I love you,
I love you, buddy. Because you watch the commercial and you're like, it's cute, but you're like, you can imagine it.
It was a total feel-good movie.
Just him in like a town hall meeting at the end, just talking about how what matters is on the inside.
Right.
Like very like cliche stuff that's happened in the
And
past.
there's some of that, but it was fine. Like I said, I was down for the count and just watching whatever was on.
And is it very similar to Mask? Like Mask, I always liked
A lot
because
of
there
the
was because the kid he was pretty comfortable the way he was, and Eric Stoltz played Rocky Dennis.
Rocky Dennis.
Same thing. Like he had facial deformities, and it was the '80s, so the makeup he just looked ridiculous. Like that's
It's
not
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he, but
His druggy addicted biker mom,
Cher,
and
and he's like he's in a biker community.
Yeah, with Gar,
Sam Elliott, who like is amazing. And then it's all about him and his buddy, right?
His buddy Dozer, when they go to school.
Who doesn't talk, right?
Yeah, he doesn't talk. He does, but it's very...
But Mask comes off pretty genuine. Like, Mask, it's not really like... Or
Yeah,
I never thought of it as hokey as things have gotten, like, later on.
Well, I think Mask was probably, maybe for lack of my knowledge on it, but was one of those first movies like that where it's like overcoming...
Adversity?
Adversity and acceptance in...
Yeah, possibly.
Because it has all the same tropes, like him going to school for like high school, and people making fun of him, and then overcoming that, and then he meets a blind girl, Daryl. No, not Daryl Hannah. Laura Dern. Yeah.
And then Laura Dern and Sam Elliott, like a few years later, are in Roadhouse together.
That was so
oh
funny.
no, is she in Roadhouse? That's not Laura Dern. Never mind. That's a different girl.
She was blind.
She was blind.
That's so cruel.
Yeah, it's so fucked up. And this is the only way that could work. It could just be a girl who like saw him for himself. Like he's like, well, she's got to be blind. That's why she's so enlightened because she's blind. The thing about Bob Seger did the whole soundtrack for and you know who was originally supposed to do it?
No,
Bruce Springsteen.
Really?
And but I think they couldn't afford it when all was said and done. They wanted to do a whole Bruce Springsteen soundtrack for that movie, and it was too expensive.
These things are a drag. He has the list at the end.
Oh yeah.
Like over the.
That's exactly how he says it. And then, spoiler alert, we're going to tell you spoilers right now.
If you haven't seen it by now, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Rocky Dennis dies at the end. And that's a really brutal scene because...
it's hard.
It's hard.
Because he just dies in his sleep and his mom, he does that whole, come on, let's go, up and at him.
Yeah.
And then she doesn't want to believe it.
Yeah, and it's a very well-acted scene. And the Grateful Dead song...
God, I think it's Uncle John's band, maybe. Oh, Box of Rain.
Box of Rain.
Yeah.
Box of Rain's playing, and it's just perfect.
Yeah.
And does Augie die in the movie?
No. Augie goes on to live a very fruitful life.
Augie just becomes, imagine, you know what would be so funny? They did a follow-up, and Augie just becomes an asshole, and he starts running a hedge fund.
He's a Wall Street douchebag.
He
beats his wife and kids.
He deforms his wife and kids.
Now you know how it feels.
Oh yeah, that's nothing. That's nothing. You're in Augie's world now. You know what's crazy?
Augie's world.
But it'd be funny, like if that was, it'd be like you did Augie, like you did a sequel, Wonder 2. And it was literally he becomes a monster because he's treated so well. Too much acceptance. He never has any adversity in his life because everybody's accepting him. So then he's like, I'm the best. Like his ego goes to the roof, and he just becomes a complete
that big dick energy.
Yeah, big dick energy. It's that everybody loves me energy.
That's so fun.
And then he just becomes a piece of garbage.
He's just doing blow
off like a girl's boobs, like it's just Augie. That's how it starts out. It's just the back of the strip club and just Augie doing coke off a girl's tits, and then they're like, Augie, your wife is on the phone. He's like, tell her to shut up. This is Augie's time. Remember, do I have to remind you? Facial deformities, you're supposed to treat me nice. You're supposed to give me Augie's time. That's so funny. That'd be funny if all those like really angelic characters from these movies just became complete.
That's really hilarious.
Like just you flip it and then they become assholes. Yeah. I wonder if there's movies that have done that. I feel like probably, you know. Actually, there's a TV show that does that. That show that about heaven, whatever it's called, the one with Kristen Bell and Ted Danson.
The Good Place.
The Good Place.
Yeah.
They flip it on you a little bit.
I couldn't get into that show.
I
loved it, and I was like,
it.
all right, because
it gone now?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's not gone yet.
I don't know.
It's a funny show. Anyway, another thing I wanted to talk about. That's funny. Now that you saw all your womanly movies, no, it's fine. I wanted to talk about. We talked about a little bit Movie Pass. You don't have Movie Pass.
I never had Movie Pass.
You're good for not getting it.
Last time we talked, it was kind of going under. the whole company.
Here's the thing. They're sending emails out every week. I canceled mine today, and it's very tricky because I think I signed up for charge me every month, and then they said I'm paid up till December 2nd. And I was like, I wonder if that was something in the fine print that I didn't realize.
Maybe.
Yeah, so then after December 2nd, it's canceled, but I didn't realize that. So if you have Movie Pass, get rid of it. Of all these restrictions, now they're saying you're gonna have 6 movies a day you can pick from to go to. It's like they're changing them. It's not primetime showings. Like if you go to the app now, a lot of things are blocked out. It's like really bad. Like it's like there's no point, and it's still $10, which is whatever it is, $8, whatever people paid, which isn't bad. But I'll tell you, my buddy Pat, who has been on the podcast, you've met, Pat. He does How to Watch Movies the Right Way with Greg and Aaron and Clayton, and they did a whole episode based off Movie Pass, and it was really, really, really funny. If you don't listen to this podcast, check it out. It's called How to Watch the Movies the Right Way. They're super funny, and they talk about movies like we do. And they were talking about, and Pat was like, I'm done. I'm like, it's pointless. And Clayton's side of it was like, I'm with them. They never said that it was going to be like for free for all forever. But I'm like, they kind of did. They said all the movies you want for $8 a month, whatever it was.
Which is criminally low.
Low. So listen, really quick. Pat turned me on to AMC A-List.
Ooh.
So you're only restricted to the AMC theaters, but they're everywhere. Literally, there's one in Astoria.
That's my hometown's one. Yeah,
exactly. There's one everywhere you can think of has an AMC.
Yeah.
There's one.
That's not bad.
The Lincoln Square one is an AMC.
Yeah, everything's AMC.
Yeah. The Union Square one isn't. I go there a bunch, but I would just not go there. Kips Bay is AMC.
I was gonna say Kips Bay.
Yeah, and this is New York based, but if you live in a basically a suburban area and you're listening, like you have an AMC by you. So it's AMC A-List, you join Stubbs, and then you join the A-List on top of Stubbs. So Stubbs gives you the points. So A-List, it's $20 a month, but you can see 3 movies a week.
Okay.
And then the Stubbs part of it, every dollar you spend is 100 Stub points. So then you get like 20,000 Stub points, and they start you out with like 1,500 already. 20,000 Stub points gets you like popcorn and a soda.
Oh,
or
nice.
like, it's like you can earn for, like, I think if you have like $1 million, you probably can go see a premiere or something like that. But I would do it for like candy and soda and stuff like that. Yeah. You know?
The Marble Miles of movies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, windbreaker that says AMC on the back.
Somebody had that old joke where it was like, maybe it might have been DePaulo, where he was just like, it was like jogging gear and all that stuff. He was like,
while you're smoking? Yeah. You're gonna be smoking while you're jogging? Yeah, so basically, but if you haven't joined this thing, it might be worthwhile if you go to AMC theaters. Like the first day. Also, when you go to the snack bar, they have AMC A-List line. You can jump the line.
Ooh.
So you literally at the one in Times Square, well, not Times Square, 34th and 8th. They had it and it was in the middle of the day, so it didn't matter. But I still went on the line, and I skipped these 2 kids that were waiting, and I felt like an asshole. But I was like, I feel like royalty.
Yeah, that's good. Sky Priority Miles. I love it.
Oh, it's fantastic. So, anyway, AMC A-List, Pat turned me on to it, and I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
And also, the app is different. So, like, the app, you have 3 movies a week. So, the app has, like, circles for all 3 movies that you go see.
Uh-huh.
So, you almost feel like it's a game, and you have to fill in all the circles before the end of the week, you know?
That's great.
I might even
That's
go to
cool.
a movie after this podcast just because I'm like, ooh, I want to go and fill it in.
All right.
Anyway, let's get to the Defend Your Movie part of today's Defend Your Movie.
All right, sir.
We decided to do 2 things that actually make sense to me, I think. And I'm going to take the less popular one because I really do think I enjoy this movie better. Today we decided to do The Hangover.
The Hangover.
Which is a classic, like, what would you call it? Like a guy comedy type, whatever.
Buddy
movie, right.
Along the lines, and I think the highest grossing comedy at the point.
Was at
the
one point
time.
it was? Yeah. And then we're going to put that up against Wedding Crashers.
Ooh.
I think there's going to be a lot of controversy when this comes out. I think that people right away are like, Hangover, no doubt about it. But you know what? I don't No, I don't think so.
right.
I think the shock, like, I'll tell you why. I'll make a defense why Wedding Crashers is better. Wedding Crashers, there's only one Wedding Crashers. There's 3 Hangovers.
Yeah.
And I think the sequels affected the average of Wedding Crashers.
You may be right on that.
And then on top of it, of the Hangover, the sequels affected the average of the Hangover. Because by the time you got to the third one, the third one was like, the second one sucked. The third one was didn't hit the same punch. They were doing the same gags.
Yeah.
So like you were getting inundated with the same surprise things, and it wasn't as shocking. Like when when Ed Helms in the first one, when he gets the tattoo, not the tattoo, he gets
he loses a tooth. He gets the tattoo on his face. Yeah.
Yeah, he gets a tattoo on his face, and he loses a tooth. Like that. Right. That was like shocking for a movie. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that, the movie was at the time, I think the times have caught up with, like, almost, because comedies probably emulated that movie. So now, like, if you see a penis in a comedy, you're not that, like, it's an R-rated one.
Right.
You don't care anymore. But there's like a shot of a penis in, I think it's like is it the first one or the second one where there's like, there's a shot of it, like a couple of shots
it's the
of
first
a penis.
one because it's Ken Jeong, his
Yes.
character. He jumps out of his throat.
Yeah. So not that I'm saying no, the movie's never had nudity, but like all this shocking stuff, and I'm like, I don't think it holds up as well. And also, I think the other 2 sequels of Hangover affect the average of the Hangover. When it comes to Wedding Crashers, like, I don't know. You have like you have Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson at their prime. You don't get any more prime Owen Wilson. Like he's not doing those kind of movies anymore. If he is, they're not as good. Like I think that was followed up by like You, Me, and Dupree and all these these bombs that happened. So it's kind of the time of Owen Wilson.
Wonder.
Oh, that's right. He's in right. He's doing Wonder. That's right. Like he's kind of at the point now. Like he had, I think, an issue, and then he went into rehab, and he went back out. But he never went
like suicidal or something.
He was suicidal or something like that. I think something like that. And I am and you know what? Also, I'm a big Owen Wilson fan.
Love Bottle Rocket.
Bottle Rocket. That's what did it.
Yeah.
He's amazing in Bottle Rocket. Dignan.
He's great.
He's so good. Like, and his comedy, like his like, I don't know why he doesn't write movies more, because the Wes Anderson thing.
He always the
early Wes Anderson is Owen Wilson and Wes
co-written.
Anderson, and then more and more it got just Wes. Now that's why it's more like childlike and fantastical, and like it's very like, this is my universe. But when Owen Wilson was involved, it was a little bit more real world based, and it was like,
and I mean,
the
those
comedy
movies
was
are
better.
So good. I mean,
so
Bottle
good.
Rocket, Rushmore. Rushmore is so fucking good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
But
I love Tenenbaums
I saw Bottle
too.
Rocket. I saw it 100 times. I love Tenenbaums as well. But Tenenbaums was like the last one I think he was heavily involved with. And then the comedy was like they've got more serious after that. Like you have Grand Budapest Hotel. Like it's funny,
which I do like.
I do like it.
Kind of that was one I thought it kind of came back toward
a little bit.
What they did.
Yeah. But Moonrise Kingdom, it's good, but it's the comedy's different. I didn't love it as much as I liked Hotel better. I like other ones better. But like now it's more like, oh, here's this the filmmaker, Wes Anderson. But it used to be more, he was making more like the masses friendly comedies before. Like Royal Tenenbaums can have a wider audience than Moonrise Kingdom. You know what I'm saying? I think I honestly believe
absolutely.
That. I think it's almost like Wes Anderson not dug himself into this. I mean, Wes Anderson. It's like he got himself into a point of like, I'm back to being more of an indie. I'm back to being more indie than I was, because he had, he was popular for a while. When his stuff comes out now, it's like he has his fans. It's almost like a niche comic that goes on the road, and then his fans come out to see him.
God, I gotta watch. It's been a while for Bottle Rocket and me. I have to watch.
Me too. We should watch it.
I mean, that was in college. I mean, we quoted the shit out of Bottle Rocket and Rushmore.
Yeah.
That's Applejack, man. You know it. I mean, it's so many funny lines.
And also, like,
Who's that man?
Who's that man? That's Applejack. It's like the comedy's so good.
Named character's great. Just Applejack. Dignan is such a great name.
And they do, in Tenenbaums, they do a kind of an ode to it. Because remember at the end when Owen Wilson, he's outside with the American with the Native Americans, and he's like, hey, what's up? This is my sponsor. Runs with 2 horses. That must have been him. That's him. That's so what I mean. Like, he's a funny guy. Like, he's a funny writer. And I guarantee you. So I think that to go back to my point, like Wedding Crashers, that was like prime Owen Wilson. Who knows if he helped write that a little bit? Like,
Yeah.
like that you had that character was in a bunch of movies. Like that's as close to dignity as you're going to get. You're not going to get that Owen Wilson.
Well, I was going to say, for me, Wedding Crashers gets a little corny, and that kind of, I think, kickstarted Owen Wilson's move into that role of, like, You, Me, and Dupree, and, like, sappy half comedies. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you, though, it's all right, there's great people in that. Vince Vaughn, great.
Vince Vaughn is pure Vince Vaughn.
In
what
every
he does best.
I
Just
know.
rattles off sarcasm.
Yeah.
And it's really good. You know, it's just...
Vince Vaughn's amazing, and Rachel McAdams is like, you have a crush on her when you watch that movie. That's why I don't think it's as corny as people say. The relationship between them, yes, it has a corny veneer to it, like because it's in a comedy.
Yeah.
But if you really think about it, like the lines that she has, like it's actually how like. It's what you would want like a crush to be. Like it's like maybe it's just me, but I like she busts his balls a little bit. Like it's like this cool relationship. Like
Right.
I maybe I'm just corny. Who knows? But I mean, like I don't think it's as corny as people think. Like, and personally, I don't think it's as corny. I think the comedy's there. So I think that I think if you labeled that movie, like if you took just the love story of them two meeting up and you didn't have the tone and the music of like a boop, boop, boop type of comedy,
Yeah.
and you said it was an indie movie, and then you made it with Owen Wilson and Rachel McAdams, and then they meet the same way, but it's filmed like an indie
Hold on,
movie.
something.
What?
I want to look up the director.
Yeah.
David Dobkin, I know, is the director, but I want to see what else he did.
Okay, if you did it not like a box office type silly comedy, I guarantee you would think the stuff they say and how they get together and it could be a real love story. It could be like a real movie. That could be a whole movie in itself.
Yeah.
But then they have like it's almost like that. You could just strip that one part of it out. It's almost like that part of Wedding Crashers doesn't match up with the other stuff. Like it's and don't get me wrong, it does. It's corny because of the setting, because of the you have the music involved with it. You have
a lot of the family stuff is a little
the family stuff,
corny to me.
The gay brother stuff. But it's funny. Like
there's a lot of funny stuff in it.
There's a lot of funny stuff, but like the family stuff can be corny. But if you just took out that story and you were like, oh, they met at a wedding and it was filmed differently and the score was different, but it had the same people, that could be an indie movie.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just a matter, like, if you just change the script slightly and didn't have the ba 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 ba, like,
Yeah.
there's music they put in those types of movies where, he's walking and it's like, and it's like, oh, it's almost like we're trained to be like, this is fun.
Yeah, yeah.
But if they made it a little bit heavier and they changed the script a little bit, but still have the same people and still a lot of the same lines, it could be an indie. I'm telling you, it could be an indie.
You could knock 20 minutes off that movie, too.
You can totally knock 20 minutes
drags a
off
little
that.
bit.
It does drag a little bit, but it's a funny. Like,
It's funny.
The people in it make it so funny.
Yeah, it's a
And
good
I
cast.
think
It's a good
now,
ensemble.
In my life, I would rather watch Wedding Crashers than the first Hangover. I think.
Wow, really? Because I watch Hangover, I think, more on repeated viewings if it's on over Wedding Crashers. Wedding Crashers, I won't sit around and watch.
Really?
No.
Oh, I'll definitely 100% sit around and watch Wedding Crashers.
I think
'cause it's also more fun. Like, and I think Hangover also Wedding Crashers wasn't like it was really really popular, but not as popular as Hangover. Hangover was like. Then it got corny after a while when and Zach Galifianakis is so goddamn funny.
Breakout.
But Breakout, yeah. But then after a while people were like, "Are you in my wolf pack? You're in my wolf
Yeah.
pack." And then that everything. Well, comedy is about the surprising things. That kills the surprise. Wedding Crashers you can watch and enjoy. Hangover became a phenomenon and had those sequels that killed it, and also you had everybody be like, "Oh, you in my wolf pack?"
Yeah.
Or quoting when you quote lines from Hangover, it was like people were trying to be cool. Like when you quote lines from Wedding Crashers.
Oh, really? I feel the exact opposite way.
Really?
Yeah.
There's nothing cool. That's kind of what that's what I think that's cool about Wedding Crashers. There's nothing cool about it. Hangover was kind of cool. Todd Phillips did the directing. It's like he's kind of cool. Like there was
he makes good movies. He makes funny movies.
He does make
though.
really funny movies. But there's more. His comedies have more of an edge to them. What you can like about Wedding Crashers to watch again is like, oh, it's like this nice.
Hangover's definitely more edgier. I'll give you, for sure.
And there's great people in both.
I think it's
They're
more
both amazing
straight
comedies.
up comedy. Like Hangover's a comedy, whereas you have that side story of you have a love story within a Hangovers just goes for the jokes.
Okay, that's a good point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just.
I mean, it's Ed Helms kind of broke out too. Ed
Yeah.
Helms is really underratedly funny in The Hangover. He's playing the piano and he's doing the song. Really hilarious.
He's great.
The whole like
He's a really talented guy. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, his story of
with the tigers?
Well, the tiger is great, but his fiance and
Yeah.
the bartender didn't even come in her. Like, it's just that's such like a random thing where they kept it up with the joke.
Yeah.
It's like, and he didn't even come in her. You know, it's such a hilarious funny.
He's good at playing that guy. I'll tell you, I don't know if you know this. You know he was a stand-up. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Okay, he was a stand-up. I used to hang out with this girl, and we were friends, but we would kind of date. We dated a little bit, maybe. And she wanted to do stand-up, and this is like when I was younger, and I was like, and I wanted to do it as well, but I didn't have enough guts to do it. And she was like, "Oh, I'm going to do this show," but I don't know if it was a bringer or if it was a mic, and she's like, "Do you want to come see me?" And one day I was like, "Sure." It was at Boston Comedy Club,
Okay.
or I don't think it was Comedy Village yet. It was Boston Comedy Club, and I think it was a mic. I showed up and I watched it. She never showed up. It took me a while to get there too because like the A train was messed up. I was living uptown. Where was it? Oh, it was in Queens, and I had to switch. And I switched to the A or the E, and I forget what it was. Anyway, I went down and watched the show, and I think it was a mic, but it was packed. So it might have been a bringer. Who knows?
Yeah.
But it was like early too. Ed Helms was hosting it with this blonde guy who I don't know if he even stopped. I must have stopped comedy or something. And Ed Helms like. Funny stand-up, really funny.
I remember his
like
premium
great
blend.
jokes.
I remember a specific joke that he had about the subway on his premium blend, where he it stuck with me because he was like, I was running to the train, I took the stairs double time, I get on board, train didn't leave for like 12 minutes. That's just a really funny New York thing where you're like, I know that exact's funny.
But he's like he was really good at stand-up. Anyway, so. Then but I don't think he does stand-up at all. I think he's done. I think he was like more of an actor.
I don't think so. He was great on The Daily Show as a correspondent.
And it's funny because when he started to be on Daily Show, and then I was waiting for like, oh, there's going to be an Ed Helms special or something. Because I thought he was like a stand-up first.
Yeah.
But I think he was like more of an actor.
Or is more of an actor. I think was he part of UCB for a while?
He must have been.
I mean, I remember seeing him early on at a UCB show. And I knew him from his premium blend, so I actually went up to him. He was just standing in the old UCB lobby on like the old first one here in New York. And he said a weirdly funny thing to me. I was like, "Hey man, that was really good." He was like, "Oh, thanks, man. I thought it was a bit splotchy." He was totally serious.
Yeah.
But really funny guy. So he, I thought, and Galifianakis both broke out. Zach Galifianakis obviously known more for his character. But Ed Helms, I think, just as funny.
And here's the thing: I'm defending Wedding Crashers against this. No, Baskets is one of my favorite shows that's on TV.
I have to watch. So many people recommend it.
And you want to talk about drama mixed with comedy?
Yeah,
it's drama mixed with comedy, but it's perfect. It's perfect how it is.
Yeah.
It's this weird, flawed thing.
The tie-in is the one actor who's in both movies, and he's the lead. I can't think of his name.
Bradley Cooper?
Bradley Cooper, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Really funny kind of straight man, but not true straight man in the Hangover. Plays a funny character in Wedding Crashers. He just plays the dick perfectly.
Yeah, he plays the dick perfectly. You're right.
He's Rachel McAdams.
He's in both.
Yeah.
He's her boyfriend or fiance or whatever in Wedding Crashers.
Well, yeah, he just kind of springs it upon her. You know, he's like, so we're married.
Yeah.
You know, she's like, what?
That's why I have more fun watching Wedding Crashers, because you love to hate him. Like, it's weird.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird. In Wedding Crashers, he's the dick that you love to hate. In Hangover, he's the dick that you love, just straight up love.
Yeah.
Like, you like him the whole time. You know, there's a weird thing. It's like, I don't even know what you would say the difference is. Like, I guess like The Hangover's a more realistic comedy. Like, you know, Wedding Crashers has that sheen of like going to see like I guess Hangover is technically a better movie. That's why. If you had to go filmmaking wise, Hangover is a better movie. The Wedding Crashers has that thing to it. Like,
Wedding Crashers drags a little for me. I'm not saying it's bad. I just like Hangover better. It makes me laugh more. But both great ensemble casts. I will say that in Hangover, I kind of lost my train of thought. But what were you just saying?
I was saying, no, my point about the Wedding Crashers, I think, like I said before, the things surrounding The Hangover kill.
Oh,
it for
right.
me. I think I don't look at like if The Hangover was just The Hangover, I'm like, oh my god, it's amazing. And honestly, I think I'm gonna watch it again. I'm like, I don't think I would enjoy it as much now. Maybe because all the reveals on it and all like
could be.
There's a lot of like topical stuff. Like there's a lot of like Wedding Crashers is just silly. Hangover is like, they have the Mike Tyson thing. It's like, that became such a big thing. Like Mike Tyson getting knocked out by Mike Tyson.
Right.
Still
got it.
Yeah. But I don't think I would watch it and laugh as much as I laugh in Wedding Crashers. Like, I think I'd watch it because I'm like, maybe because I watched it too much when it first came out, Hangover.
Maybe.
But I think it was such a movement. What were you going to say? Go ahead.
I remember, talking about the build-up, it's funny, Alex, our producer, was just in Italy. I remember when Wedding Crashers came out, I think it was 2005, and I was abroad. I was just traveling with my buddy for like a month and a half, and I was checking my email. I used to be, Bill Simmons used to be a writer for
Grantland, right?
ESPN. Exactly. He wrote like a mailbag, and I was just at an internet cafe. I hadn't checked my email or whatever in like a month, and so I was just catching up on everything. And I remember Bill Simmons raving about The Wedding Crashers. At the time, he's like, maybe the funniest movie of all time, blah, blah, blah. And I remember showing that to my friend. My friend was like, dude, we got to go home and see that movie.
Yeah.
So I remember being very
excited,
very highly anticipated.
And then when you went, do you remember walking out being disappointed?
Yeah, totally.
Really?
Yeah. I thought it started so strong.
Yeah.
There's tits, and it's really funny, and they're just doing what they do, and it's Vince Vaughn, and...
What year was it? 2004?
I think it's 2004 or 2005. I want to say.
And then, so you think it was one of those ones that, but it got hyped up for you because of the Bill Simmons.
Yeah, I think it might have been a little thing where I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I can't wait to get back to America, watch American movies, eat American food. And yeah, it was a little bit of a letdown for me. Still funny, but
another great scene, the Will Ferrell scene with the mom, like that's the perfect Will Ferrell. Everybody's at their peak, but like peak them in that movie.
Yeah,
it's not the peak movie they've done, but it's peak them.
Yeah,
like it's
really
perfect amount.
Strong cameo.
Will Ferrell just like Ma,
the meatloaf.
Where does she go? What is she doing back there? That's hilarious.
It's really funny.
And yeah, but I think also like Hangover. What do you quote more?
I don't know if I
don't know if you quote either. If you quote either.
I would say at the time I probably quoted Hangover more because of the way Zach Galifianakis said retard.
Retard. Right. That's
really funny.
See, this is what I'm saying. Like
Bradley Cooper is really funny. When Zach Galifianakis is walking around when they finally wake up, and he's just walking around with no pants. He's like, hey man, I can't even get the line out. So he's like, hey, would you mind putting on pants? I'm surprised I have to ask you twice. Along those lines.
No, it's super funny. But as I thought of the thing with the retard thing, I was like, that's super funny. But I keep thinking of like him in the follow-up movies. I can't not think of like they have him fall in love. In the third one, he like falls in love with him like Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, it's a steep decline in quality.
It's a very steep decline, and that I think affects the mean average of a movie. I really think
that does happen.
That's my main defense against this movie because I do like the first one, but I don't like the other ones. If we do the flip test for both, I would flip back to Wedding Crashers more than I would The Hangover.
Okay.
Just as a personal, I think that has the flip thing to it, flip test to it. If I put the flip test, that's why I want to make that a thing. The flip test. Do you flip back?
Yeah,
You're
like
watching it. So the flip. That's a new segment. I just made this up. So on the show, we have a movie. Does it pass the flip test? It means that you're watching it already. A commercial comes on. You go off of it. Do you flip back?
I'll tell you, I will flip from certain parts of each movie. If I know the part is coming up.
Oh, what from
I'll
Wedding
put on the
Crashers?
baseball game or something and come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Both movies have that for me a little bit.
What do you flip? Do you flip off?
The love story, like the bike ride stuff in Wedding Crashers.
Yeah,
where he's trying to get to know her.
And what's the Hangover
It's
part?
just a little sappy to me. The Hangover part is, I don't know if there's, I would say maybe, like the Ken Jeong stuff sometimes is now tired to me.
Yeah.
At first, like you said, at first, when it surprises you, it's great and hilarious.
That's
and
what
then
I
upon
mean.
repeat viewings, you go, all right, now the the shock is gone.
That's kind of what I was trying to say, dude. A lot of the Hangover gags are surprise gags.
Yeah, yeah.
Retard is funny, but then when
I
the cat's
agree.
out of
Once
the
you
bag,
know it.
no, that's most jokes anyway. But I mean, but with Wedding Crashers, when you have with personality based stuff, and I just laugh at them, for them being, like the Will Ferrell scene, like there's not a surprise factor on
You
there.
might be pulling me over because, well, yeah.
Really? Oh,
I was just thinking about how many, like Vince Vaughn has so much packed into that movie. On repeated viewings, you'll find something new where you're like, I never heard that way. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Just just the him and the eating breakfast with the priest is really funny scene.
Yeah.
Here's looking up your address. He's
then
talking filthy to the priest.
And then the priest tells everybody, he's like, I thought we had a thing. I thought we had a bond, or whatever he says. And he's like, the guy just shrugs his shoulders.
Yeah, you know what? The motorboat thing, he's motorboating son of a bitch, is really, that's quotable.
Yeah. Then it's prime Vince Vaughn. And it's always like,
really good Vince
I
Vaughn.
see that on repeat viewings, and I'm like, it's not a surprise joke. It's just Vince Vaughn, cadence, great
It's what you love about Vince Vaughn.
Yeah. And the stuff that you'll know about Owen Wilson. Like, that's the thing, you're right. Like, if you take Bottle Rocket Owen Wilson as the purest Owen Wilson,
I would say so.
then there's remnants of it in there. We're just getting so deep on this, but like, there's remnants in there, but it's not the same thing. But it's like, actually, it's not. That actually, he lost it on Wedding Crashers a little bit. He plays the straight man a little bit more in Wedding Crashers because in Bottle Rocket, he is like the weirdo and like he's not.
Yeah.
There's and it'd be so goddamn funny. His brother is the straight man and he's the weirdo.
5-year plan. What a great movie.
Then,
I gotta watch it. It's
isn't it
been so
like,
long.
It has like, oh, this is what we need. He goes, hooks, scaling ropes, and he gives them like a list of all stuff. We gotta watch. We should do an episode on Bottle Rocket versus something. I'll put that up against a lot of movies. And it also the script. It's the comedy of that movie. Like it can go up against most comedies.
It's
very nuanced.
It's a different kind. I don't know if I had seen that kind of comedy before. It turned me on as, I don't know, what I was like 17, 18 years old, to a weird, like the whole thing in the beginning of him having to think that he's escaping from, he's just like, it's known.
Yeah.
Like the people who work at the hospital, he's like, can you just let him do it this way? It's like, it'll just make him feel. It's so funny to me.
So
like
funny.
That's a great weird idea.
Yeah. And you're right. You probably didn't have a lot of those up until that point.
Yeah, like
and they kind of started it.
Yeah.
And then how many things were influenced by Bottle Rocket?
Totally.
And then you have Owen Wilson in there. So when I think of Wedding Crashers, it's like that's what I mean by more fun. Like you have Hangover. And that's one of the points I wanted to make was like the surprise when you the first viewing. Hangover is like first viewing. If you put first viewing versus first viewing, Hangover. But if you put like garbage, like not garbage, I shouldn't say garbage, but like no brainer, like a Saturday rainy day movie to just have on, just leave on.
Yeah.
And then when you want something familiar, Wedding Crashers.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons also is Rachel McAdams. Like I love Rachel McAdams.
She is
I love
great.
her because she's so talented.
What about Isla Fisher? I fell in love with her.
Oh yeah, that's another thing.
That kind of, I guess, I don't know, probably not her first movie, but that introduced her, I think, to a wider audience where it was like, oh, she's okay.
Yeah, I think so.
And
That
she's
made
really
her
good.
career.
She's funny. She's a really good actress.
Yeah, she is.
And gorgeous.
There's a great let's sidetrack for a sec really quick, and we're gonna wrap up. There's a great video online people should look up. It's Sacha Baron Cohen, who's her husband, at the BAFTA Awards. Did you see this?
I don't think so.
You gotta watch. I'm gonna spoil it right now because I just want to tell Andy about it. Maybe I'll just have you watch it after the show.
Okay.
All right, and then we'll talk about it next week. So what do you think? Did you come over to the other side when it comes to Wedding
I don't know if I
Crashers?
came over just because in the end, I think Hangover is just a funnier movie. And that wins out
So you
for
think
me.
joke for joke, it's a funnier movie?
Yeah.
You might be right on that. I'm saying the other one's a more fun movie, and I have more repeat watches that I'd be willing to do.
This might make you upset, too. I think it's a stronger cast in Hangover 2.
Oh.
The way they gel. And I know that's saying a lot because Vince Vaughn is really hard to beat. And you've got it's a bigger cast.
Yeah,
you've got a lot of
here's
Bradley
the thing,
Cooper's great, Christopher Walken.
Here's you go. Like I can fix that with. You don't have any other buddy movies with because actually do you with you have the Wedding Crashers What else did they do together? Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson. They did that Google movie but even that, like, they're funny in that. It's just not a good movie.
That was not horrible.
No.
Yeah, but like,
it's not a great movie, but they're funny in it.
Right.
You have two guys who work very well together in that movie. Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson are fantastic together.
They are, no doubt.
So that's you want to talk about gelling? They gel like no other.
Yeah.
You have the Hangover. You have a group of guys that work well. Like you have Ed Helms. It's not like Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson work well together. Ed Helms, Bradley Cooper, and those guys, they're not working well together. They're just really good parts of like a team in that movie. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not like oh my god, this exchange between like they're not like bouncing off each other. It's more like Zach Galifianakis is doing his stuff and everybody's reacting.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not like a two-man. It's not like Abbott and Costello type thing. It's more they're just reacting. That's my point. Like, and also they made another movie together. Actually, they made.
I will give you the point that the sequels do take away from the original.
But you're not coming. You're still saying
it's not like a
movie.
Godfather 3 where it doesn't even touch the first two. But it does downgrade it a little bit. I just thought of a really funny part though in Hangover, which I do love as the ending, is the photos over the credits are so filthy
very
and funny.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, why it's just a little dirtier of a movie.
Yeah.
Not family friendly is the wrong phrase, but Wedding Crashers is more sweet. You know what I mean?
It is. I mean, I think I'm like more. I think I'm attracted to that more these days.
I was just going to say that, and that's fine. But I think just for the humor, I think Hangover beats it just not because it's dirty. It's just funny. It goes for the jokes rather than like a huggy happy ending. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
We're Wedding Crashers. Everything wraps up nicely. You know what I mean? And it's all happy, and everybody gets together with the person they want to be with.
That's a good point. It has that's what I'm saying. It's more realistic based comedy.
Yeah.
It's like they get there and they're still not happy, and then they get whatever happens. All right, let's wrap it up there. Let us know what you think. Who do you what movie out there in the audience? Let us know what you think. Which one is better, Wedding Crashers or The Hangover? Let us know if we made any good points. You can email us, defendyourmovie@gmail.com, and let us know what you think. Let us know matchups you think we should do.
Yes, we can do some audience matchups.
What'd you say?
Some audience matchups. There's some good ones in there.
There's some good ones in there.
Defend Your Movie.
Yeah, we're actually going to do them. And we're at Defend Your Movie on Twitter, so tweet at us. I'm also at Shawnee Time on Twitter. We do this at Showbiz Studios. That's showbizstudios.com. They have an iTunes page and also a YouTube page to check out all the great shows they have. They have a bunch of our friends have shows on the network, and they're freaking hilarious. Andy, anything else you want to plug?
No, you can just find me on Andy Fiore on all social. Pop it in.
Cool. Thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget, listen, rate, and review the podcast. It's very important. It helps us. It helps us get listeners. It helps us, it helps the algorithm online, however that works. All those megabytes and gigabytes. And,
we didn't talk about the Meg.
We didn't talk about the Meg. That's right.
I'll see it for next week.
Okay,
and
perfect.
then we can talk.
All right, next week,
Thanks,
the
Alex.
Meg and another matchup. And we love you for listening. And thank you so much. And give us a shout. Let us know. Talk to you later. Bye. Love you.
There's a time